She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor.
She hit the floor. Again, hard. And this time, fans aren't just mad. They're furious. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's most watched rookie, can't seem to play a game without getting smacked, shoved, or knocked to the hardwood. But what went down last night took it to a whole new level. And this wasn't just physical play. It was violent, blatant, and possibly calculated. The Indiana Fever came in hot, but from the opening whistle it felt less like basketball and more like a setup.
Point third quarter. Sheldon all over Clark, and they get into it a bit here. Lexi Hall now gets in Sheldon's face. Caitlin Clark hits the deck.
Clark got drilled, blindsided, and, according to some fans, intentionally baited. The hits kept coming, the refs swallowed their whistles, and what happened in the second half left the entire arena and social media boiling. And here's the kicker. The league let it happen. Again, another national broadcast, another high-profile matchup, another night where the WNBA's biggest star got hammered while the officials stood frozen. But we're not even at the wildest part yet. Who did it, how it escalated, and why fans are now calling for suspensions? You're about to find out. But trust us, what you just read, that's only the opening shot. Inside this chaos-packed breakdown, we've got scorched earth quotes, behind-the-scenes drama, savage payback, and the moment Caitlin Clark flipped the script without saying a word. The refs? Exposed. The players? Unleashed. The fans? Divided. And Sophie Cunningham? Oh, she didn't just snap, she declared war. Keep reading, because this wasn't a basketball game. This was a battle, and the fallout is just getting started.
Enough is enough. At some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected. And that is certainly the case with the way things around Caitlin Clark are officiated.
The eye poke heard round the world. Let's stop sugarcoating it. JC Sheldon didn't accidentally poke Caitlin Clark in the eye. She swiped straight at her face with full intensity, and the slow-mo replay doesn't lie. Clark dropped instantly, grabbing her eye in visible pain, and before the refs could even blink, Marina Mabrey flew in like a hitman, body-checking Clark to the floor in what looked like a coordinated takedown. The reaction? Crickets from the refs. No flagrant, no ejection. Just a cold, robotic decision. Give Clark a technical for escalating. Let that sink in. The woman who got poked in the eye and then flattened got hit with a tech. Not Sheldon, not Mabrey, Clark. Social media exploded. Clark gets beat up every game and she gets punished, was the sentiment flooding the timeline. Commentators were baffled. Even rival WNBA players were quietly liking tweets criticizing the league's call. Meanwhile, Tina Charles got a tech for taunting Clark after the shove, and still, Mabrey walked away clean.
There's a scrape across the face. That's what Clark didn't like. And then Mabrey came in with a bump.
Fans are calling it what it is, a pattern. First, it was Chennedy Carter, then Angel Reese. Now Sheldon and Mabrey. Every game, it's a new name, a new hit on Clark, and somehow she's the one who ends up penalized. Where's the line? Or better yet, why does the line keep moving when it's Caitlin Clark? And still, Clark didn't fold. She brushed herself off, hit 20 points on the night, and iced a deep three over Sheldon with a cold death stare that sent the arena into chaos. No words, just buckets.
Of course, the referees are going to review the play because that's a lot of contact going on right there. That's a lot of unnecessary contact. That's a lot of non-basketball contact.
But here's the uncomfortable truth. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's surviving it. And if the league doesn't step in soon, it's not just her credibility on the line, it's theirs. WNBA officiating hits rock bottom. If there's one thing everyone agreed on after this game, it's that the refs failed miserably. Fever coach Stephanie White didn't hold back. The officials don't get control of the ball game. They allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. She's 100% right. From the opening tip, this game was a ticking time bomb, and the refs did nothing to defuse it. Even Sun coach Rashid Mezian admitted the refs lost control, though he conveniently defended Mabry's cheap shot.
Adam Silver, Commissioner of the NBA, and I am so excited that a WNBA team is finally coming to the Bay Area run by this great Warriors organization.
The worst part? This isn't new. The WNBA's officiating has been under fire all season. Fans are fed up. The incompetence of the WNBA refs is astounding. Adam Silver needs to clean house. Even harsher? Engelbert is the problem. If she did her job, the referees would do better or be fired. The league's growth is being sabotaged by its own incompetence, and with stars like Clark getting brutalized nightly, how long before fans walk away? White dropped the hardest truth.
This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competitions.
Everybody's getting better except the officials. Players are faster, stronger, and more skilled than ever. But the refs? Stuck in the Stone Age. If the WNBA wants to be taken seriously, it's time for drastic changes. Fans are demanding accountability, starting with public referee press conferences. Get them into hot water, one fan demanded. Until then, expect more chaos, more brawls, and more outrage. Sophie Cunningham's revenge. Was it justified? The final minute of the game turned into pure chaos when Sophie Cunningham delivered a vicious foul on J.C. Sheldon, sending a message that the Fever weren't backing down. The play? A fast break where Sheldon lowered her shoulder and Cunningham clamped down hard, grabbing her head. The result? A full-blown brawl, ejections, and social media exploding with takes. Fans were split. Some called it dirty, while others argued it was payback. SC was just giving Sheldon some payback. If you watch the play, Sheldon lowered her shoulder into SC. One fan defended. Another fired back. Yes! Sheldon initiated the first contact. The refs once again looked clueless, ejecting Cunningham, Sheldon, and Lindsay Allen for escalating. But here's the real question. Why did it take this long for the officials to act? Cunningham's post-game Instagram? Iconic. A smug smile, arms wide, like she knew exactly what she'd done. Fans loved it, flooding the comments with Queen of Petty and Protect Caitlin at all costs. Meanwhile, WNBA execs were probably sweating because this wasn't just a foul. It was a statement. The Fever are done being pushed around. The crowds roar. Indy's electric backlash. Gainbridge Fieldhouse wasn't just loud, it was furious. From the moment Mabry shoved Clark, the boos were deafening. Every time Mabry touched the ball, nuclear heat. When Clark hit that dagger 3 in the 4th and stared down the Sun bench, the place erupted. This wasn't just a home crowd, it was an angry mob demanding justice. Even Clark admitted post-game, "I've got to give our crowd a lot of credit. They were tremendous." And she wasn't wrong. The energy was raw, unfiltered, and 100% pro-Clark. When the refs refused to eject Mabry, the chants of bullshit echoed for minutes. Social media lit up with clips of fans losing it, proof that the WNBA's fan base is done with the league's incompetence. The message was clear. Protect your stars, or the fans will revolt. If the WNBA thinks this backlash will fade, they're dead wrong. Indy showed up for Caitlin, and if the league keeps failing her, they'll lose the most passionate fan base in sports. The aftermath. Will the WNBA finally act? Stephanie White's post-game rant wasn't just heat, it was a warning. The game has changed. Everybody's getting better except the officials. She's not alone. Coaches, players, and fans are screaming for change. But will the WNBA listen? Or will they keep letting games turn into street fights? The league has to address this. Fines won't cut it. Suspensions won't cut it. They need new refs, stricter punishments, and zero tolerance for cheap shots. Because right now, it's open season on Caitlin Clark, and the Fever are fighting back. If the WNBA doesn't step in, the next brawl could be even uglier. Fans are demanding action. They should have the referees on press conferences immediately after the game. Get them into hot water. The pressure is on. Will Kathy Engelbert finally do her job? Or will the WNBA keep burning its own hype train to the ground? The rivalry deepens. Clark versus Sheldon's blood feud. This wasn't just another game, it was the latest chapter in the sizzling rivalry between Caitlin Clark and J.C. Sheldon. These two have been going at it since their college days, and the tension reached a boiling point in Indy. From the opening tip, they were locked in, trash-talking, shoving, and staring each other down like this was personal. And let's be real, it was. Sheldon's eye poke wasn't just a foul, it was a message. And Clark's response? A cold-blooded shove and a 20-point explosion to silence the haters. The crowd ate it up, chanting Clark's name every time Sheldon touched the ball. Social media blew up with side-by-side clips of their past battles, proving this feud is far from over. One fan tweeted, "Sheldon wants to be Clark so bad, but she'll never have the ice in her veins." Ouch. The WNBA better schedule these teams again soon, because this rivalry is must-see TV. And next time, it might get even uglier. The social media war. Fans versus haters. If you thought the game was wild, you should have seen Twitter and Instagram after. The Clark stans and haters went nuclear, turning the timeline into a war zone. Pro-Clark posts racked up millions of likes, while Sun fans fired back with "Cry more, Rook." The drama was juicier than a reality TV show. Cunningham's Instagram post, "Fan fuel." Comments like, "Protect Caitlin at all costs." And Sophie said, "I got you, Rook," flooded in, while Sun fans called her classless. Meanwhile, WNBA analysts were caught in the crossfire, with some blasting the league's refs and others, doubters, saying Clark needs to toughen up. The takeaway? The WNBA's fan base is divided, and the league's failure to control the chaos is only making it worse. One thing's for sure, engagement is through the roof, but at what cost? If the WNBA doesn't step in soon, the toxicity could scare off casual fans, and that's a risk they can't afford. What's next? Fever versus Lynx, the Commissioner's Cup final. Amid all the chaos, one thing got lost in the shuffle. The Fever are headed to the Commissioner's Cup final. Their showdown with the Minnesota Lynx on July 1st is shaping up to be an absolute blockbuster. And after tonight's drama, the stakes just got even higher. The Lynx are no joke. They've been dominating, and their defense is brutal. If the refs let them play as physical as the Sun did, Clark could be in for another long night. But here's the twist. The Fever now have a chip on their shoulder. They've proven they won't back down from anyone, and if the Lynx try to bully them, they'll get the same smackdown Connecticut did. Fans are already hyped, with tickets selling out fast. Will the Fever bring home the cup? Or will the Lynx shut down Clark and add more fuel to the overrated narrative? One thing's certain, this game just became must-watch TV. Like, if you think the Fever will shock the Lynx, share to spread the hype. Subscribe for the hottest WNBA takes.